Hey everybody, it's R.J.etro here, and today I'd like to talk about ideas I have for Generation 7, Pokemon Sun, and Pokemon Moon. I made a list a couple hours back of ideas for Generation 7, and I thought I might like to share my ideas. Now, I don't really have much of a script here, I'm just doing this sort of improv style, but I think this will be a good video nonetheless. So the first thing I'd like to talk about Generation 7 is bringing back the underground contests and the game corner and make them all compatible with Wi-Fi. Now, I really like Pokemon Generation 4, and I think the underground would be perfect for Pokemon Sun and Moon. I mean, think about it, with Wi-Fi, you could basically, maybe the underground could be a place where a bunch of players gather, maybe I know this sounds weird, but maybe Club Penguin, where there's a bunch of servers and people just run around, everyone can visit each other's secret bases. What else could they do? They could trade, maybe battle. I mean, maybe you could mine together. I mean, I just really like the underground, and I thought it should have been really brought back for Gen 5, but Generation 7 I think is going to go back to the way Gen 4 is in terms of how everything is competitively good again, a really good story, stuff like that. Now, let's go on to contests. Generation 3 contests, in my opinion, weren't very good, especially in ORAS, because they basically just took the contest engine and just put in 3D with the 3DS camera. I didn't think it was way too inventive. I mean, Gen 4 they were still pretty dang bad, but at least they had stuff that was fun, like dancing and I think dressing up. I think that was part of it. I'm not really a contest guru or anything, but I think they could expand on that. I would love to see contest. Oh, there's my clock going off. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, sorry. So anyway, let's see what was I talking about. Contests. Bringing back ideas from Generation 4, improving on that, I think would be good, to be perfectly honest with you. Okay, moving on. The game corner. Now, I think this is something Nintendo has been trying to bring back, but can't, because I'm pretty sure there's some stuff with, ratings where, you can't gamble or anything in a video game or something, but, they can make, fun stuff for the game core. They don't have to make it, slot machines and stuff. They could make it just, maybe mini games or something, and then being able to play with those, online, that could be pretty dang fun. I mean, maybe they won't bring this back, but, maybe we could do, slots as an example. Even though they probably won't bring back slots, you could play slots, online, and maybe you could, bet, Pokédollars, or maybe even you could bet Pokemon. Think about that. That'd be cool. Yeah, so that's just the first point right there. Now, the second point I have is improving Wonder Trade. Hashtag Wonderwash, by the way. Wonder Trade, I really love Wonder Trade. Wonder Trade Wednesdays, I mean, they're pretty great. I mean, sometimes you can get legendaries, but what I mean by improve is that, there are people who hack Pokemon into the Wonder Trade, which is another build I'm talking about, legality of Pokemon. There are people who like to hack things into Wonder Trade. I feel let's say I trade out a legendary and I get a Fletchling or a Wurmple, in return. That's not fair. Maybe they should have, set categories. If you trade crap, you get crap. If you trade good Pokemon, you get good Pokemon in return. I mean, I feel it should be more standardized. So, there's no jerks who try to trade, Pidgeys and then expect to get legendaries in return. I know I've done that once. But, it's starting to bug me a little bit how I trade semi-good Pokemon that I take time to hatch, and I just get crap in return. Okay, having Pokemon follow you again and integrating Pokemon-Ami into that. I believe that Pokemon-Ami will return for Generation 7. I mean, it's a gimmick, but I thought it was pretty dang fun. I mean, like Tomodachi-esque, playing with your Pokemon, feeding it food. Pretty much similar to the Pokewalker, which, yet again, there's another bullet point talking about something along the lines of a Pokewalker, maybe with Pokemon Go, but I'm getting off topic. I think having Pokemon follow you would be very beneficial to this generation. I mean, another bullet point I have is making the region more lively, and I'll talk about that more later, but like, there have been people who have hacked in Pokemon following you in the 6th generation, and it's pretty friggin' cool. I mean, that would be neat, and what I mean by integrating Pokemon-Ame, so like, if you talk to your Pokemon, you could go straight into Pokemon-Ame, or you could like, there'd be a menu where you could like feed a Pokepups or something like that. I just think that might be pretty cool. Okay, having starters with new secondary types. Game Freak, I don't want another firefighting type. Please, no firefighting types, please. How about like fire electric? That'd be cool. Or let's see, we've already had water steel. How about like a water? No, that would break the game. I was gonna say water leaf type, and I'd be like, we've had those before. That's not good for a starter. Yeah, but anyway, I think you should have starters with new secondary types. I liked the fire psychic type Delphox. I liked that. I like that a lot, actually, but I think you could do like fire electric or fire ground or something cool. I just don't want another fire fighting type. Or heck, you could just make it fire, which wouldn't be too interesting, but like, meh. Okay, 5th point. Make it so you can obtain every Pokemon in the National Dex with 1 game, or 2, including the remakes of Generation 4. Okay, I'm predicting this. We're going to get remakes of Generation 4 in this gen, which I love Generation 4, so as you can see, I'm pretty dang excited. But I feel as though you should be able to obtain every single Pokemon in the National Pokédex with 1 game. I mean, I wouldn't want to buy a gazillion games and have like event-only legendaries and stuff like that. I mean, yeah, that could add to the fun of trying to catch them all, but like, you can't really catch them all anymore because like, you can't. Like, there's no way to catch them all except the hack. Or if you have a let's say you want to get Manaphy. The only way you can get Manaphy in Generation 4, which I'm pretty sure is the only way you can get Manaphy up to this point, is buying a copy of Pokemon Ranger in box, and then beating the game and then exchanging it for Manaphy. Once per game, not per save file, once per game cartridge. So yeah, I think there should be able to have a way of obtaining every single Pokemon in the National Pokédex in the region. Or heck, going back to other bullet points, but I'm saying here is that maybe you could. Maybe if there were other regions in the game, like you could get other Pokemon or transferring them. I would be fine with transferring stuff over through Pokebank with X and Y and ORAS. Because with ORAS and X and Y, like, those are new enough that you'd still want to buy them and play them. Yeah, so I think that'd be a good idea. Okay. Total character customization and making clothing less expensive. Game Freak, what were you thinking when you decided to take customer customization out of ORAS? That was the dumbest thing ever. I liked customizing my trainer. And with X and Y, it was still flawed because, one, you couldn't change the body type. When I mean total customer characterization, I want to be able to make my character fat or thin. Or let's say I'm black, which I'm actually not black, but let's say I'm black. Make your character black, as dark or as light as you possibly want. Or make it a girl or a boy. Well, that's been around forever, but like, make it a girl or a boy, make good character customization. Have shops with clothing that stays. Don't let it switch every day. Like, if you're gonna have a store with a couple pieces of clothing in it along the region like you did with Kalos, make sure they're not different per save file or boy or girl. If I want to be a boy and wear a skirt, I think that should be fine. I don't think you have to lock certain things. I mean, boys really got the crappy end of the stick with X and Y with character customization, because you only got so many things. You didn't really get much stuff to dress in. Okay, one of the bullet points I talked about earlier a little bit was making the region more lively. Now, what do I mean by this? It looks like Nintendo and Game Freak are having a good job by doing this, because they're actually bringing in they're gonna bring in like trucks and cars, as you've seen with that the image in Sun and Moon, in that original Sun and Moon trailer, where there were some trainers and a Blastoise on a fire truck and stuff like that. I think that'd be cool, and having your Pokemon follow again, I think would contribute to making the region a lot more lively than it is. And I want the region to have a good geological design as well. I think we are due for a region that's actually really good. I mean, Kalos was sort of going in the right direction, but like, I do not want another Unova where you just travel in another circle. I mean, that's just bleh, crappy. No one wants that. Okay, next thing. Oh, sorry if you hear my mouse clicking. I'm using this for my laptop, so like when I click like that, you can actually hear the clicking. And I do apologize again for the crappy audio and stuff like that. Okay, moving on. I want Pokemon that are not only competitively viable, but are designed well. I mean, Kalos had some awesome designed Pokemon, but like going back with Unova again, I really don't like Gen 5 that much. I don't think the Pokemon were that original, but I would like very well designed Pokemon and competitively good Pokemon. I don't want more crappy Pokemon. I think if you're going to make a Pokemon, it should be like a good Pokemon. Like, don't make crappy Pokemon. I mean, yeah, of course there's going to be the regional bird and the legendaries and stuff like that, but like, they're going in the right direction with the birds with Fletchling. And by the way of that thing in the trailer for Sun and Moon, the first one, with the bird wireframe Pokemon, that looks pretty dang cool. I think they could do a lot of cool things with that. Moving on, we're gonna go into some Eevee and Ivy stuff. I think Eevees and Ivies should be shown on the summary screen. I mean, with all these competitive people talking about Eevees and Ivies, wouldn't it be great if you could just look on the summary screen and it would just show you the Eevees and Ivies? Or maybe there'd be a toggle, you could turn it on and off. I mean, wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't that be so much better? And speaking of Eevees and Ivies, my next point, making breeding easier, incorporating Eevees and Ivies. Like, maybe like when you were going to get your egg from the Pokemon daycare, they'd say like, oh, this Pokemon's got good IVs or Eevees. And I think they should, maybe they don't even have to call it Eevees and Ivies. They can come up with something like better, like cool points or something really dumb or something, but at least make sure the trainer knows before they're hatching their egg that like, hey, this Pokemon could be competitively viable and stuff like that. And it's talking about breeding. Next point is address the existence of shiny Pokemon and make them easier to obtain. Now, I'm pretty sure in any of the main series Pokemon games, does a trainer ever talk about shiny Pokemon? I mean, I know it's like a thing confirmed by Nintendo that like shiny Pokemon are like a thing, but like I've never seen a trainer talk about shiny Pokemon. Like, I know in Pokemon Platinum there's a trainer that says there's a Pikachu with a different color or something like that. I think they should have a thing where they actually say, hey, this is a shiny Pokemon. These are very rare to find. And speaking of rare, I think they should be just a bit easier to obtain. Like maybe like instead of 1 in 1,000, make them like 1 in 750 or something, just a tad bit easier like that. Okay, now that I got that out of the way, let's move on in the list. Here's what I want. I want to have a team with truly evil intentions and good grunts. Now, Team Flare, worst team in the Pokemon franchise. Team Flare is absolutely abysmal. I absolutely hate it. If there's another Team Flare, or if there's a continuation, I'm going to rip my head off. I mean, let's go something back to like Team Galactic, where Team Galactic didn't have the best grunts. Cyrus from Team Galactic just had the best intentions ever. He wanted to basically destroy the world and get rid of all emotion. I mean, that's pretty dang serious for a Pokemon game. I mean, don't make it evil, like truly evil, like killing people or something, but like just truly evil intentions. Like make a good story. Don't make it on the side of Black and White where it's like extreme weird story with Team Plasma and then they become terrorists in the next game. But like just make a really good team, like Team Magma and Aqua, or and don't do a Team Rocket either. Don't make the team as boring as crap either. Okay, next I want instant right out of the box backwards compatibility with the Gen 6 games, the Virtual Console, and Pokebank. Well, Pokebank has already been confirmed to work with Sun and Moon along with the Virtual Console games, but what I hope is that we don't have to wait a year in order to use it, like with Generation 6. I mean, yeah, they did make up for it with, like, distributing Celebi through it, but, like, it's gotta be, like, out of the box. I mean, like, I'm sick of, like, booting up a Pokemon game. It's like, oh, you gotta wait a year. I mean, come on, Game Freak. Make instant backwards compatibility. For goodness sake. Okay, and with Generation 6, I think you should be able to even take the Pokemon from Generation 7 and then bring them back. Oh, there's my clock again. Bring them back from Gen 7 to 6 and from 6 to 7. It should be like the time capsule in Gold and Silver, from Red and Blue to Gold and Silver. I think they should do that. Okay, next bullet point. I want a huge after story, including a Gen 4 style Battle Frontier and the Pokemon World Championship. Okay, now, a lot of people want the Battle Frontier. I think Gen 4, Heart Gold, Soul Silver, Platinum, Pearl, and Diamond had the best Battle Frontier in the entire series. I think it was on par with what people wanted, practice for online. And then there's the Pokemon World Championships in Black and White 2, where you could basically fight every single trainer from... No, excuse me, throat hurts. From the entire Pokemon franchise. I thought that was awesome. So, just don't make another X and Y where there's like no after story, and don't make it like ORAS where you tease the Battle Frontier and then basically say it's going to be DLC, which... It's weird though, because like when I first saw the Battle Frontier in ORAS, I thought it was going to be like DLC or something, but apparently not, because Game Freak hasn't said a word on anything. Okay, next bullet point. Easy travel to multiple regions which haven't been made in 3D yet, so basically no hoeing. I think there should be multiple regions in this game. I think maybe, like, since this is the 20th anniversary of Pokemon, I think they should remake every single region that hasn't been remade in 3D yet. So, like, I want to be able to travel back to the following regions. I want to be able to go to Kanto, Johto, Sinnoh, and Unova. I don't care about Kalos or Hoenn. I really don't care about. That way, it would be easier to travel, get Pokemon all the way from... Well, you don't really need Kanto, because you have the Virtual Console games, but, like, going to 4 regions in the game would just be awesome. People would be so happy, and I just think it would overall benefit the main series games. I mean, you wouldn't even have to make a remake if it was... And don't water down the region too. Like if you're gonna bring back Johto, bring back Johto. Like don't do what Gold and Silver did. Well, obviously they had memory limitations, but like, don't do what Gold and Silver did, where you cut out a bunch of stuff, but you still have the region. Like, the 3DS truly has enough memory. I mean, you could even make this like a downloadable game if you had to, if you had so much stuff on it, or make it 2 cartridges. I know that might be a pain, but like, if you have enough space, you could make like 2 cartridges or something like that. Okay, improved legality checks in online modes, equality. I don't want to lie, I have hacked with PK hacks before, and it's actually really great. I mean, you can make Pokemon that are good, but I'm hoping if they put EVs and IVs in, there'll be no need to hack anymore. Of course, I don't do it anymore because that's kind of rude. But what I mean by equality is that with, like, I'm pretty sure Wonder Trade and Battle Spot have different checks. They should all be uniform. Like, if you can't use a Pokemon on Battle Spot, you shouldn't be able to use it in being able to Wonder Trade it. I mean, what's the point? Like, you can't use a Pokemon that's illegal, but you can Wonder Trade it? I mean, that makes like no sense whatsoever. So just make it uniform online. And speaking of online, next bullet point is make online play better with more battle options. I mean, like, sure, X and Y had tons of battle options, but like, make it so you can have one-on-one Pokemon battles with all 6. Maybe that's a thing online. I don't really use online that much, but like, I know with like the Battle Maison, you can have single, double, triple, or rotation. I think with singles, you should be able to have all 6 Pokemon in a single battle, not just 3. It's kind of dumb, if you think about it. You should be able to have all 6 Pokemon on one side, all 6 Pokemon on the other, just like if you were battling the champion, or Red, or one of the Elite Four. Or another thing that's not even on here, make the Elite Four have 6 Pokemon. Make the game just a tad bit harder. That was a big one. Make the game a little bit harder. That might be good. Okay. I think after the main story, it should be easier to level Pokemon up to level 100. Now, I mean, I know with online, it automatically levels them to level 100, but like, there should be a way. Or at least something easier, like being able to buy rare candies cheaply after the main story or something. Something to get your Pokemon up to level 100, so like, you don't have, or maybe even after like the after story. Like, if there's a big after story, like once you beat that, maybe it'll unlock something so you can level your Pokemon up to level 100 or something. I mean, that might be cool. I mean, I'm not sure. Okay, next bullet point. Streamline the rivals and have one interesting rival. I hated in X and Y how there were like 5 different people. There was like that fat dude, and then there was the guy who cared about his Pokédex, and there was the really weird, like, there was the love interest, and then there was the other rival. Like, too many rivals. Just have one rival that's interesting, somewhat of a jerk, and then learns how to be nice again. I wouldn't say copy Gary Oak or Barry or Hugh. I mean, actually, Barry was a good rival, because Barry wasn't, like, rude. He was, like, just kind of like, I want to be the best. But he never was, like, really rude. Gary was just a rude guy. Don't make someone rude that would piss off people. But just do something like that. Okay. Pokemon. Have at least 100 new ones. With X and Y, we only got like 64 new Pokemon. I think we only got like 64. Maybe even less than that, but like, we did not get many new Pokemon. And just, if you're gonna make 100 new Pokemon, make them good. I mean, I'd rather have 10 really, really awesome Pokemon than 100 crappy ones. But like, at least try to put more Pokemon than 64. I mean, coming from Unova, which had like more than like we've ever had, with like 156 new Pokemon. I mean, just make Pokemon that are good and have at least 100. And speaking of Pokemon, new Pokemon, I think we should have a new type. And I think that new type should counter normal types. I think normal types in a way are getting a lot more overpowered than they should be. And I think it should be addressed. Maybe like a crazy type or cosmic type or something weird like that. Just something that counters normal types, because normal types really don't have many weaknesses. I mean, they have fighting. That's basically it. I think Game Freak could come up with something that'd be good to counter normal types. Next thing, this is a big one. Connectivity with Pokemon Go by transferring items, Pokemon, and using your phone as a new fashion Pokewalker. I think if you were to take your phone and use it as a Pokewalker, I think that'd be awesome. I mean, Pokemon Go is already pretty much a free app, so if you could like transfer your Pokemon you catch in Go and like transfer items from Go to Sun and Moon, that'd be awesome, man. I mean, think about all the possibilities. Like, let's say you find like a shiny Pokemon in the wild when you're using Pokemon Go, you can just transfer that to your game and then use it like competitive or something. Speaking of more new generation things, I want Pokemon models with textures like Pokemon Battle Revolution. Now, I did like the art style X and Y. I think they nailed the Pokemon models, but I think the textures, if you compare the texture, we're getting really obscure now, but like if you take textures from Battle Revolution and then compare them to X and Y, I mean, like, I think you should make the Pokemon just a little bit more shinier and like just not even like get rid of like the main models that you had in X and Y. Maybe just give them a fresh coat of paint. Don't do it like Pokemon Stadium where you reuse them for like 4 games and they start to look dated. But with the 3DS, I think you could squeeze it a little bit. Okay, we're getting down to the last two. I want new 3DS compatibility. That means I want Pokemon Amiibos, and I want no slowdown when using 3D. I hated how there was lag when you tried to use 3D on the original 3DS. Maybe they've already fixed that in the original 3DS, but like, the new 3DS has processing power that can actually do that. It's so dumb how they haven't had a patch for ORAS where you can just view Pokemon with like no slowdown. And Amiibos, I think you should be able to use your Smash Brothers Amiibos, maybe use them for battling. Don't make it an all-out Amiibo-focused game. I mean, that'd just be like, maybe Amiibos would just be a little something off to the side that would be cool. Maybe just like a little tiny gimmick. And my last point, I want improved navigation features from ORAS. That means the Dex Nav, the Area Nav, and the Play Nav. I want them all improved. I want better things for the Dex Nav. I want to be able to fly to routes just like in ORAS. I want to be able to soar. I just want to have overall good controls and stuff like that. And that's basically it, you guys. Those are my requests for Pokemon Sun and Moon. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe, give a like. This is one of the first videos on my channel that I'm actually pretty dang serious about. So if you guys like the video, make sure to just give it an overall review. Tell your friends and support the R.J.etro Nation, I guess. So have a good day, you guys, and bye.